Hello, sci-fi gangsters. This is the show where we talk about science fiction, video games, and comic books. But really, it's just an excuse for me to catch up with my friends, old and new. I'm Anthony Dennar, media scholar and person. Before we begin today's topic, we're talking about Marvel projects that you're most looking forward to. Right? There's plenty of Marvel projects. Actually, I was going through the list when I was thinking about my top three. There's a ton of Marvel projects coming up. So we'll be discussing that today. You can watch us on YouTube. If you're watching us on YouTube, hello, how you doing? If you're listening to us on Spotify or any other podcast service platform, hello, how are you doing? Right, so multiple ways to, if you're watching on YouTube, you can look at my hair. Everybody's been making fun of my hair today before we began. It doesn't know what it wants to do, but there it is. But if you're listening on Spotify, of course, you can enjoy us just with the listening while you're working out, or you're driving your car, or you're doing other things that you do when you're listening to podcasts. But once again, we're talking about Marvel projects, and we have a panel. We have our usual guests here. We have Jeremy Shepard, we have AcidTrain, and our special guest today, we have Mychal. Mychal, how you doing?
I'm good. I survived the last time we came on. I enjoyed it so much I came back. So I'm glad to be back with you guys.
Well, I enjoyed having you on the show so much. I was like, you know what? We have to have Mychal back. Jeremy pushed back on this. Jeremy said, no, I don't want Mychal back. But I fought for you. But it's great to have you back. Are you still, where are you at right now?
I am still in beautiful California, San Diego to be more specific. But I will eventually be coming back soon because I know our school is, like most of the country, very much pushing for us to all come back in person by like August, September. So I'll probably be back in beautiful Atlanta sometime around then and having to pay rent again, which I am not looking forward to. Though I will be excited to be at my parents' house. So,
Yeah,
you know,
that's definitely a double-edged sword, right? You don't have to pay rent, but then you're living with your parents though. But coming back to Atlanta, just so everybody knows me, the way I know you is that we're both PhD students at Georgia State University. We both teach, and during the pandemic, you've been able to teach online, just like I have, and you went back home, and you're enjoying the sunny California, right? How's the weather over there, by the way?
it's pretty good. I like it is wild now having been on the East Coast compared to the West Coast, how different the weather is. Like I know like during y'all's winter, it gets kind of cold. There's like ice. It was like below 60 and I was in like covered in blankets in class. Like one of my classmates like was like, "Do you have a scarf on?" I'm like, "No, it's just a blanket. I'm just freezing." Because usually it's like 70 here and always nice. So yeah, we're picking back up. Well, daylight savings just happened for all of us, so that's I guess like the marker of spring is coming. So yeah, the weather's getting nicer. I'm excited because I'm take summer classes. That's the whole reason I avoided trying to take summer classes was because I was going to be here, and I'm like, I have to enjoy summer on the West Coast. Like, it's just not right to be in classes. So I did double duty, and now I am free for the summer. But I have to get through the semester first, like we've been talking about with you and comps and everything else. So I'm curious about like Jeremy and Acid. Like, what do you guys do during the year? Like, I'm so used to talking to school people. I'm like, what do other people do? Like, how do you enjoy your time?
Seasons have no meaning to me. Every day is the same as the one before.
Oh no.
I usually just check and see how hot or cold it is outside, and then that determines on what clothes I put on. Other than that, I mean, because I have kids, I know when Christmas is about to be here, and I know when summer's about to start, just because they're really excited. Which, by the way, we have 8 weeks left, and then summer starts. But yeah, other than that, like Jeremy, just every day is the same, unless it's a weekend. It just means I don't have to drive a bus.
Now, Mychal, since you moved back to California, you didn't get to enjoy an Alabama spring where it's 70 degrees one day and it's 30 degrees the next day, and it does that for 3
and
months.
Everything's covered in pollen.
Yeah. Everything's covered in pollen. You don't know what to wear. In the morning, you have to wear like a jacket, and by the afternoon, you want to throw away that jacket because it's so hot.
You need your swimsuit after that.
Yeah. it actually warmed up. It was pretty warm here for a couple of days. I think it got up to 80 a couple times. And then today, chilly. Very chilly today. But
I
that's
left
the
the
way
house
it
this
is.
morning. It was like 43 degrees at 5 o'clock this morning. So
Oh my God.
I was bundled up.
Yeah,
Truly
Those
my
tornadoes,
nightmare.
something that also doesn't happen in California.
That's true. Yeah, we had the tornadoes.
Yeah, it was wild. Like when I first came back out here, it was during when the fires were happening. So that was a whole thing. And then we got past the fires. And then obviously earthquakes, they come and go. We're just a mess. Like it's a beautiful state, but natural disasters everywhere. So, I mean, you pay a lot of money, but it's a risk. So you gotta kind of take it and leave it. So,
yeah,
but it's home.
Yeah, we have tornadoes, and that's pretty much it. Like hurricanes don't hit us here because they pretty much die down by the time they get here. We don't have the fires that California has, and we definitely don't have earthquakes. So just that and the racism. But other than that, everything is fine here in Alabama. But yeah, so it's Mychal, like I said before, it's great to have you. Great to have you here. But yeah, so before we begin, obviously we'll be talking about Marvel project that we're most looking forward to. But first, I like to catch up with my friends. That's what you guys are. You're my friends. We talk about what's new, what's been going on. And I think Jeremy is going to be talking about the Snyder Cut for a little bit, and we'll wait for Jeremy to talk about the Snyder Cut. But for me, two things kind of recently happened. I finished up my comprehensive exams. That 4 days of absolute hell that I had to go through. Where, by the way, this particular comprehensive exams, the way they set it up, this is the way they said that you're supposed to do it. They send you a question every day, and you're supposed to spend 8 hours on it. That's the whole goal. You're supposed to spend 8 hours, but they give you 24 hours to do it. And I probably spent about 12, 13 hours on every day, easily. I will say this: on the fourth day, I rested. No, on the fourth day. I probably spent
on the fourth day.
I probably spent less on the fourth question because I was just so tired of it. Like I had to take breaks every 30 minutes because I was just so tired of writing. And of course I have a stand-up desk. So I was tired of standing. Like I was standing for 12 hours on and off like the whole time. I tried lowering my desk and I couldn't do that either because I'm so used to standing when I type now. So that was kind of an interesting, but I wanted to share one of my questions with you because I thought it was kind of interesting to share one of the questions because one of them is not exactly I mean, they're all academic, but this is the least academic one. So it could be kind of a fun one to share. But first, my second thing that happened. So I had 4 days finishing up my comprehensive exams. On Monday, I got my second shot for my COVID vaccine. I got my second shot. I went in there. It took 2 seconds. I walked right in. I got my shot. I sat down for 15 minutes so they could check you, make sure nothing happens. And I go home, feel fine. Of course, the one thing I heard from everyone who's had the second shot is that you get sick the next day. And I was like, all right, here we go. I'm expecting to get sick. So on the day of the shot, feel fine. I play some video games that night. Wake up the next morning, I'm done. I'm like sick as a dog sick. And I was probably sick until at night when I started feeling better. I started feeling better at night. So it was kind of I definitely did get sick too. I remember in the morning, I was like, I'm not going to get sick. I'm going to fight through this. You know what? I'm going to work out. I'm going to work out today. And I did not do that. I slept all morning. I think that's the one thing. You feel kind of like you have a little bit of chills. And of course, they're multiplying. Then you lose control. But Jeremy's shaking his head. Didn't like that one. But mostly you're tired. Like so there was it was a compounded thing where I was mentally fatigued from the comprehensive exams and I was physically fatigued from the shot. So it was just it was a horrible day on Tuesday. But no, the next day I felt fine, completely fine, back to normal. But first I want to share one of my questions on the comprehensive exams. I thought it'd be kind of fun to share it with you because it is comic book related. It is superhero movie related. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up. Here's the question that I had to answer. That was actually part of a two-parter. My comic book studies one question was a two-parter question. So that's why I spent so much time on that particular question. But this was the first half. All right. So What factors, industrial, aesthetic, cultural, technological, have contributed to the contemporary rise of superheroes in film and television? How have superhero narratives transformed the storytelling of contemporary media? There you go.
Hmm. We've
And
actually been talking about this in Ethan's class, so I might actually know this answer.
but there, so the kicker there is it says industrial, aesthetics, cultural, and technological, and you could spend a time on each one of those, right? And there's plenty of books that talk about the industrial forces that have led to the comic book movie in terms of convergence culture and transmedia and intellectual property, that sort of thing. They're popular. They make a lot of money, therefore they're going to keep making them, that sort of thing. They have fans that are invested in them, so they know that they'll make money because fans are invested in them. And then you can talk about the aesthetics in terms of the comic book aesthetic, right? So I mean, there's definitely, I spent a lot of time on that particular question, and there's plenty of books, plenty of academic books that discuss this. So there you go. That's a little fun little exercise for you. What do you think about that, Jeremy? Did you like that question?
Yeah. So the last part of it, I don't know. I mean, it would be, so they're saying that superhero media has changed the way that stories are told now. Is that what it's implying?
Yes, or at least that, yeah. So the success of the superhero narrative, how has that altered?
So what's inherently different about the superhero narrative versus, generic man versus man versus nature kind of story?
Yeah, there's part of it's not much different, right? It's kind of the same myths that we share. But then you could talk about all these movies that are inspired by like superhero movies that are not superhero movies, like The Matrix and that sort of thing. There's plenty of literature about movies that are not necessarily comic book adaptations, but are heavily influenced by the superhero narrative. Like we want to see action, we want to see like transformation, like an average person that becomes a superhero, that sort of thing, right? But I think also,
I mean, I guess so. When I think of the root of all that, I think of Beowulf. So, I see more the parallels of any of these superhero movies going back to the sort of historic, rise of the king kind of story.
yeah, and certainly there's been a lot of literature on that where this is just another myth. Like superheroes are just another myth, and that's why they get rebooted all the time. Because if superheroes progress, if they evolve, then they sort of lose their appeal, or that's the argument, right? We want Spider-Man to be a teenager who's dealing with and that's why he has to constantly be rebooted. You can't have a Superman that has kids, right? Because that's not interesting. Like we want the archetypical superhero character. It's rebooted in comics. It's rebooting in film.
Well, why not then just take the Simpsons approach? They haven't aged a day since the series started. I mean,
well, that's kind of what
why even are they getting older anyway? They should be the same age every time they get on that screen.
Well, that's what's been happening,
yeah.
Right? So you had Captain America in the 40s, then you had Captain America who was reborn, essentially unfrozen from ice, right? In the 60s, and then he's kind of then he gets. In the MCU, he's born back into our current era. So these heroes are constantly being rebooted.
I finally got to watch that movie. Actually, it was pretty decent.
All right, well, there you go. But I think the most interesting one is the two arguments are: is this more of a industrial thing or a technological thing? Meaning, the reason why they're so popular is because we have the technology like CGI and green screens and special effects that we can actually, like before you couldn't actually show Spider-Man, well you could, but it'd be very campy to show Spider-Man swinging from a building. Now you can kind of do that, right? So that's one driving argument, but to just say that's the reason would be ignoring other cultural effects or cultural factors. Everyone wants to talk about 9/11 and how 9/11 has sort of we needed to stories of American exceptionalism, because 9/11, if we make the argument that 9/11 sort of feminized the country because we're vulnerable, then the superhero narrative is a way of masculinizing the country, right? Of Americans powerful in the world scheme, right? So there's a cultural anxieties, or if you want to talk about wish fulfillment, right? We're really getting in the weeds with this question. Technological, industrial in terms of convergence culture. So fans are more willing to go see that they're going to support the film, right? So, and then superhero movies are being successful. So you're going to make more superhero films. And then of course you can even talk about the MCU in general, how it's one cinematic universe where you see one film and you're going to want to see the next film because it ties in with the other film. And it's just one large universe. And then look what every other intellectual property that wants to copy off the MCU, obviously the DCEU, but then the Mummy and what was it, the Universal Monsters universe?
It was just it's DC property, but
right,
the Dark Universe, whatever it was called.
I was excited for it.
I think just the Mummy did so bad that they were like, no. But I mean, the MCU has significantly altered Hollywood.
Oh, for sure.
In itself, because now everybody wants to copy that the way they're doing things, where it's one cinematic universe where every movie's tied in with the other one, and then you can cross into comic books and video games, and now television on Disney Plus. I mean, everybody wants that. It's very profitable. So I mean, the MCU is significantly altered. So that's the answer to the question, right? Michael, did you want to add something to it?
Oh, I was just going to say, because I am in your chair's media industries class. So we've been talking about franchises since like day one of the semester. And I think the last thing we talked about, maybe Star Wars. No, we talked about Marvel specifically. And so, yeah, like, I mean, obviously, as the question implies, all these things mesh together and form each other, because you can't kind of have one without the other. Like they impact each other like heavily. And so, yeah, I think like the main thing from that question I would probably have talked about was like how basically, like as you were saying, Anthony, like how franchisable now things have to be. Like if you look at like the Fast and the Furious, like started off as just a movie about cars, and now it's like a whole franchise like of like cast and characters that are basically the same movie, just like repackaged in different ways. And like even we talked about the Conjuring franchise, which is another one. So like a horror franchise. So like all these things, like these like this like idea of like having one-off movies is no longer kind of like is no longer the standard. So now you have to be able to have things that tie into each other, or else like basically you're not going to survive. Like anything that's like not franchisable is usually like critically acclaimed kind of Oscar worthy things. Whereas everything else, like the big blockbusters, are all something that has to be linked back to a franchise or have possibilities for a franchise, which is wild and why people are kind of feeling some fatigue probably around that, which we'll kind of maybe talk about with our options when looking at all the vast Marvel things that are coming out that are all connected to each other. Looking at that list literally made me so exhausted. I was like, oh no, I'm gonna have to watch so much. So I'm excited for it, but also like somewhat terrified by how much Disney Plus will get from me. So
oh yeah, so let me just say this. I'm excited for every one of them. Just because I'm that big of a Marvel fanboy, right? But the Fast and the Furious is the perfect example of superhero storytelling influencing other franchises. I mean, it's the perfect example, right? So yeah,
which is wild that like now Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, who was in Fast and the Furious, is now going to be Black Adam. So it's like truly wild how these things all kind of like come together and cross over. Because yeah, I mean, the Fast and the Furious, I would argue, is probably a superhero franchise because the thing that they do with cars are physically impossible. So like there is no way that those people are not like superhero inclined the way they speed off with those cars. So yeah, but I love them. So
Yeah, excellent. Well, see, there you go. There's one question that I probably wrote 7 pages on that particular question, and then my other question was another 7 pages. Do you want to hear that one too, real quick? We won't talk about it. I'll kind of give it to you. This is the second question. Ready? This is far more academic. Comics were born of racist imagery using caricatures to depict ethnic others in the urban landscape. That's the very beginning of this question. To what extent are comics constrained by the history and by the visual language of the medium? To what extent are progressive statements about race or other underrepresented populations possible using comics? Explore specific examples in your answer. Given these realities, what superheroes would you like to see adapted for film or television? That last question was my most underdeveloped. That last particular question. But yeah. There you go.
Oh god, that's a really those are good questions.
Good question. That one was a hard one. That was probably my most difficult question to answer.
Really, have you heard of what's it called? Is it EC Comics?
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just saying I had to read one book on that. That's actually not the example I gave. There's a couple other books that talked about sort of underrepresented or underknown comics. And I use those as examples.
Yeah, there's some really good books coming out through. We're getting so nerdy right now. Like, read some books about media. But if you do want to read some really great books about media, I know that Rutgers is doing a sale because of something Anthony is currently doing called SCMS, which is the Society for Media, is it Cinema and Media Studies? I think that's what it is. Yeah, SCMS. Yeah, that's the acronym. And so they usually, when they're there, have like a book sale. So a lot of their books are like 30% off right now. And 2 of them I saw, one was on EC Comics, which is like this really great kind of lesser known compared to Marvel and DC, but they're really great with like a few comics they had that were very like specifically like race and like social justice related, which were really good, which might be the book that you might be talking about, Anthony. And then the other one that I really want to read is about mixed superheroes. So specifically how like racial mixture and like with biracial or like mixed race superheroes are now developing in this like current climate, which is probably, to go back to your question, part of that cultural thing where now we're seeing diversity within comics through this mixing of races and our superheroes. So those are 2 books. I wish I remembered the names of them, but yeah, I think that is what they're called, just mixed superheroes and EC Comics. So
all right, excellent. Now, we spent way too much on my topic. I apologize, everybody.
It was a good topic.
It was a good topic. It was a good conversation. I enjoyed it. Let's go ahead and get to Jeremy. Jeremy, what do you have for us today? What's new?
So I watched the Snyder Cut.
They released it. They released the Snyder Cut finally.
They did, the much anticipated Snyder Cut. So we're going to talk about it next week. So I won't really say anything other than it did not change my opinion. But my guess is it did change yours, Anthony.
So I think this is my quick review of the Snyder Cut. It's the same review that I've had for every Zack Snyder film. There are moments of awesomeness interconnected with complete, utter nonsense. I think the thing that Zack Snyder really is his main weakness is he cannot connect his scenes together very well. Like, he has concepts for scenes that he has in his mind, it seems like. And then he has he's like, I want to do this scene and I want to do this scene. But he's really bad at connecting them in a way that flows. His pacing is way off. Like, it's all over the place.
Yep.
But I want to say the extended Amazon defense was great. I loved it. I love that scene so much. Michael, have you seen it yet?
No, my dad tried watching it today and gave up like halfway through. So no, because I really want to chunk out the 4 hours. So I have not committed to it yet. So
Don't chunk out the 4 hours. That's my advice to anybody. Break
I
it
sat
up.
down and watched it straight through.
Ooh, break it up. I
Yeah.
said. Break it up and follow the parts because it's divided into 6 parts.
See, that's what I didn't realize. I thought it was a 4-hour movie, and I didn't realize it was in parts. So I was like, my dad was like, "Yeah, I'm on part 2." I was like, "What does that mean?"
Originally, I think they were saying they were going to release it in 3 different discrete like pieces on HBO Max.
Wow.
I think is what I originally remember, but then it came out to just one long thing.
I think that's the best way to watch it. And that's how I watched it because I would watch it for a little bit. And then, obviously a kid's crying or whatever, blah, blah, blah. So I had to go do some of this thing. We went outside, play, and I come back and I finished another hour. I think that's the way to watch it. I definitely do. And I liked a lot. We're not going to get into it. Acid, what's new?
Wait, sorry, Acid. I just want to see, Jeremy, do you recommend the 4 hours? I want to hear both sides of this.
I mean, if you've got it, then yeah.
I mean, I'm in grad school, so I do and I don't. Like, that's the unfortunate thing. But, all right, you advocate for at least sitting down, though.
Yeah. I mean, I think it worked out fine.
That's a long movie.
I mean, you obviously have not sat down and watched the extended edition of the Lord of the Rings movies.
I think I might have broke that up too.
That is sacrilege.
I can't sit down. I don't have the patience for that. I have kids too. They're not going to let me. But yeah.
Let's lock them up.
Excellent.
It's okay.
Lock them up, yeah.
Let's lock them up.
There you go. There's a preview.
I also watched Falcon and Winter Soldier.
We can't talk about that at all. You can't say
and that
anything.
Did not change my opinion about things either. So.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Oh no! I don't like that.
I hope your opinion was good.
It's very hard to change Jeremy's opinion on anything.
Well, my opinion was that Falcon is superfluous in the Avengers, and I still feel he's superfluous.
Hopefully, he'll evolve.
Yeah. If WandaVision is any indicator of kind of they need like a startup kind of thing, then maybe you need a few episodes of.
Like I think, I mean, I thought the episode was fine. I mean, nothing against that. It's more of just it's the power dynamics they have in the Avengers right now. Of some people are, I mean, it's like Superman and Justice League, right? You got Superman, you don't need the rest of them.
Justice League, the movie that you loved, right?
Yeah.
They didn't fix that part. They didn't fix him just coming in and then it's over. They didn't fix that part.
No, I mean there's a couple things that they explain better, and then there's a lot of fan service they added in. But yeah, the movie itself is still ultimately the same movie.
There's one fan service that we shouldn't get into that's completely unnecessary. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Which part of the movie?
It's middle, right smack in the middle of that whole thing. It's a random fan service, and it only happened. It's one appearance, and you're like, what?
He comes back if it's who I think you're talking about.
Okay, maybe he does. I don't remember him coming back.
Maybe that's after the Joker scene, so maybe you haven't seen it.
No.
But he does come back.
All right, well there you go. All right, so there we go. Acid, let's get to you before we keep talking about
and
Snyder
that's
Cuts.
all the time we've had. Let's go to trivia.
Oh, man, we have spent a lot of time on this. I apologize, Acid.
I do want to, before I tell you about what's new, because I've got some crazy stuff to tell. I heard all your academic answers to your question. I'd like to give the non-academic portion of
Do it.
How a partial community college non-grad takes that question. And kind of, it's more piggybacking off of what Michael said with the franchising. Could it possibly, and this is just my thought, could it possibly be that Hollywood has just run out of ideas? And they've got nothing else new to throw on the table? Is everything on the table right now and they're just shifting through it?
I don't think it's a lack of ideas. I think it's a lack of the way they'll fund things. So they'll fund things the way that they know is going to make money.
And then with I get a remake just because I'm a video gamer. They remake just about everything, which I don't complain about. I love remakes from old school stuff because you see all these Super Nintendo games, and they're like, oh, well, we're going to remake Secret of Mana. And it's like, mind blowing. And it's all 3D graphics and voiceovers. And they do a fantastic job with that kind of stuff and updates. And I don't feel the same way about film that way as I do a video game, if that makes sense. Because I don't want to rewatch the same thing just because, MJ's boobs got bigger or something, whatever, just it's the same story, but Spider-Man is Spider-Man, whether you put it in 4K or not. But anyway, that's my answer. I like shiny stuff, and that's why I like video games. But anyway, brand new stuff with me. You'll never guess what happened Wednesday before I went on my afternoon shift.
All right, what happened?
I am sitting in my bus parking lot, parking spot, and I'm doing my brake check. So I've got my brake down, listening for the air, see if it's leaking or anything. And then all of a sudden, boom! Something hits me. The bus behind me decided to hit me, and yeah. So I'm now in another bus because they busted the back of my bus, and the taillight is completely destroyed, and it's in Columbus right now getting repaired.
Was this in the...
Oh, go ahead, Anthony.
No, go ahead, Michael.
This was in the bus parking lot where all the buses are. Yeah, we were about to leave to go to the schools.
So someone was driving the other bus that
they
hit
weren't
you,
driving.
Right?
They forgot to set their brake, and they stood up, and we're kind of on a slant anyway, not a big one, but just a tiny slant, and it just rolled and picked up a little speed, and then boom! I mean, it probably hit me going about 12 miles an hour or so.
Oh man. Okay, I thought for a second that there was no one in this, like this bus just on its own was like going, and I was like, whoa, that's wild.
She forgot to set the brake, and she got up to do more of her checks on her bus, check lights, seats, that kind of stuff, and just didn't realize she forgot to, engage the brake. And so by the time she realized that she forgot to engage the brake, she was already halfway down the aisle of her bus, and she's like, this is what she told me. She said, there's a bus getting really closer to me. What's going on here? Like, are they in reverse? And then all of a sudden she realized that she was the one that was moving towards my bus. And she tried to run up faster, and she fell and couldn't get to the brake in time.
The transmission won't hold it?
Not on a slant like that. It just rolls. You have to put on the parking brake because it's an air brake. So you have to engage the air brake, and if you disengage the air brake and just let up off your regular brake, then you're gonna roll. It's just like putting it in neutral.
It's the same thing with a fire truck. You have to do the air brake, but then we also I used to, Alinda does now, chalk the tires down as well.
And we usually do, but like I said, we were about to roll out anyway, so she had probably already done her brake check to make sure that the air's good, and she was just doing, honestly, she did it in reverse. I mean, if you do that if she had gone in order, that would never have happened. But accidents happen. I get it. It's fine. So anyway, now I'm in a Bluebird 2017 bus, which is fine. It's dirty because I don't take care of them, but it is what it is. We were out of school yesterday because of the beautiful weather that we had.
Yes, I remember because Alinda was working and I had the kids all day. So I remember that.
Yeah, I had the kids all day too. It was nice shining outside. We went and saw my mom.
Yeah.
They got to see grandma for a couple hours because my mom had surgery last week. I don't know if I mentioned that. She had surgery, nothing emergency or anything, just procedure that she needed done. She got done. She's just in a 6-week recovery mode right now. So we went and saw her since she was back. She's doing fine. But went out and did that and grabbed lunch. And I mean, we had a good old time. I came back and we came back home. They watched some movies and I streamed on Twitch for a little while, and that was fun. And I think I made like $2. It was great. $2.
What'd you stream?
Hearthstone, because of the new expansion that's coming out at the end of the month. And they just announced Diamond cards, which is like 3D.
Oh, snap. They got diamond cards?
3D,
I have no idea.
3D print cards now. So you have your standard cards, which are just a matte artwork. And then you have golden cards, which are kind of like animated. So like the picture moves like a little bit. And then you've got now diamond cards, which is like 3D coming out of the card with motions, kind of like a Harry Potter picture, you know, they have on the wall. And hey, it's new. I'm excited about it. And the only way you can get it is by spending money. Did you know that, guys? You can only get it if you buy it. So you cannot earn these in game at any point in time. But other than that, of course, you know, we're still waiting on our graphic designer to update our stuff, which is really cool, by the way. It's looking good. I think she's going to do a fantastic job. Jeremy's really loving it. I should have put a picture up just to give.
I'm just enjoying the vast difference in one of our pictures between the first cut.
I
to
have
the
them
last.
both, and we'll keep all these in a little virtual scrapbook so we can.
So Michael, just so you know what's going on here, we're talking with a graphic designer to create some logos for the show, right? So for like Spotify and YouTube and that sort of thing. And one of the logos is going to be a header, and it's like a cartoon drawing essentially of all three of us. And Jeremy is amused by his image. Is what I was saying. I like my new one. My new one was pretty good.
Yours was the one I was actually referring to. The vast difference between the first and the last.
Like in the first one, I gotta say, in the first one, he was like little anime man with a little peach fuzz on his face, and then I showed it to him, and he was like, "Can she make me look more manly?" And so I said, "Well, can you make anything look more manly?" And she went, "Sure." And so now his picture is like Thor is here, you know, and he's got like neck muscles and chest hair coming out. You know,
I'm all for it. I'm that fragile.
And now he has his cape and everything, so it's pretty fun.
I'm that fragile. But yeah, excellent. All right, Michael, we'll go to you. What's new?
Nothing much. Just enjoying the last days of spring break before we have to finish out the semester, which I'm not ready for. I'm ready for it to end. I'm not ready to do the work for that to end, though. But other than that, I've just been mostly binging a bunch of media. I finally finished the second season of The Mandalorian. So I watched all that in like a day. And I was kind of excited for like a brief second. Like, I forgot that you said specifically Marvel. So for like a brief second, I was like, oh, I could talk about Star Wars because the book of Boba Fett's coming out this week. Or not week, but this year. And then I was like, wait, Anthony said Marvel. Star Wars isn't Marvel, even though they're all in the Disney canon. So I was like, rats. But yeah, I've just been kind of binge watching shows, trying to take it easy. You know, you can't like go anywhere, obviously. So just been kind of enjoying it. Most of my family has at least gotten like the first dose of the vaccine. And finally today I got an appointment for my first dose. So I'm excited because I definitely wanted to get that before coming back to Atlanta because yeah, that would be really crappy if by August I still did not have it. So yeah, just kind of living life, trying to get through school. That's basically it. I'm just really trying to get to summer is what I'm really trying to do.
Yeah, you definitely want to get the vaccine before you come here because people are acting like everything is normal again. All right, so moving on. We'll move on from that. No need to get into that. All right, so let's talk about the top 3 Marvel projects that you're most excited about. All right. So for me, it was a challenge to pick ones because I'm excited for all of them. I'm a big fanboy, right? I'll admit it. I'm a big Marvel fanboy, so I'll watch every one of them, and I'll be excited about every one of them. But I'll start off with my number 3, and my number 3 is Black Panther 2. I'm excited about seeing Black Panther 2, and obviously the main reason for that is because I want to see who the next Black Panther is. And
I mean, it's definitely going to be Shuri, right?
I hope not. Actually, I'm not a big on the Shuri. I want it to be. Oh, I wanted to look up the name before I talk today. The leader of the guard. What is her name?
Oh man.
Is it a code? No. Anyways, so the actress from The Walking Dead, right? So the leader of the guard. That's actually who I want to take on the mantle of the Black Panther. I think that would make so much since, because she defended the Black Panther for so long, and now she actually becomes the Black Panther. I think that'd be, and she's already a great fighter too.
Who was
So
she
kind of
in
working.
Walking Dead?
She's
Michonne.
Michonne. Okay.
Mhm.
I haven't seen Black Panther. I'm under a rock. So
okay. Well,
Oh, acid. Oh no.
is it a video game? No, it's not.
but yeah, I'm excited
That's
to see
wild.
Black Panther 2. I want to see who becomes the next Black Panther. By the way, that's going to be like almost every Marvel project from now on. Who the passing on the mantle, right? So, Falcon Winter Soldier, Thor, the Thor movie coming out. So almost every movie is going to be the passing of the mantle movie, and this is going to be one of those. And
It's like
that is
James Bond. Who's going to play James Bond?
who's going to play James Bond, right? But yeah, I'm excited about it. I want to see what Coogler, is that his name? Is that how you pronounce his name? The director. I want to see what Coogler does. I want to see how he, if he can make it just as good as he did the first time. But yeah, I'm definitely excited about a Black Panther 2. We'll go ahead and move on to Jeremy.
So I'm less excited about the sheer volume of media coming out, mainly because I thought we'd hit peak superhero a couple years ago, but this definitely has to be peak superhero now. And mainly because there's an inverse relationship between frequency of stimulus and the enjoyment that you get from it, right? So my main concern is it's just going to be so much constantly that it's going to sap away some of my passion for it. So, I don't know what the remedy to that is. Do you titrate it a little bit? Do you not watch every single week on Disney Plus? But that's my main concern, just because there's so much coming out. But that said, my number 3 is Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Mainly because Rocket is one of my favorite characters. Drax is great. I really enjoyed what they were doing with the relationship between Gamora and Nebula. So I'm interested to see what occurs there, of what Gamora is off doing, like when they track her down, how she's gonna integrate back into the group. I'm assuming Groot will slowly start to age a little bit. So I'm excited to see, and Thor will be in it to some extent. And interested to see what happens.
So does the Thor Love and Thunder, does that come before Guardians? I think it comes before Guardians 3, right?
It wasn't originally. So originally, like Guardians 3 was supposed to be out originally in the plan. But I don't know. I'm not sure where. I know they're filming Thor: Love and Thunder now, but I also thought they had done some filming on Guardians 3. So I don't know if anyone has the picture that we were looking at.
The timeline.
Yeah.
I think
Right,
I saw Thor before Guardians. I think that's how that was.
Yeah. So Thor is supposed to come out next May, and Guardians 3 was pushed, till sometime in 2023. Mainly the James Gunn incident and then COVID.
Are we assuming that Thor is going to be in Thor Love and Thunder, or is it just going to be Jane?
No, he's there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've had pictures of him on set. I know I've seen on like Tumblr or something, pictures of him in like a shirtless kind of tank top thing. So
it's Thin Thor again.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, I'm still waiting on my. I don't want to call it Fat Thor. That's not a way. But I ordered my Hot Toys Thor with the 2 hammers. Still waiting for that to come in. Right. Still waiting for that.
Thor.
But yeah, so I already have my
With his
Captain
braided
America
beard.
background there, and I'm waiting for my Thor to come in. I'm pretty excited about that. All right, so Acid, what Marvel project are you excited about seeing?
Yeah, I took a look at the list. There were, several I was familiar with, and of course several that I wasn't familiar with. So I went with my third pick was something I was familiar with that I saw many years ago. I didn't watch the trailer, but I just assumed it was a reboot, just because most of them are anyway. But that was Fantastic Four. The first one that I saw was okay for its time. The heroes in it were somewhat intriguing. Was it Thing and all that stuff? I mean, it was entertaining. The story wasn't great, but as far as
you're talking about the one with the Captain America.
No.
Oh.
No. With he's talking about
Chris Evans.
Like
Chris
is it the very? I guess
playing the Human Torch.
The very first one. Yeah. Oh yeah.
I think wasn't there? There was one like in the
I
'90s, right?
didn't think about
really,
that. But yeah,
really
you're
bad
right.
one.
But I mean,
and then came.
I don't know. Is this like a reboot? Is this a whole nother story? I don't know.
It's going to be a reboot, right? So it's the Fantastic Four were a property of Fox for a long time.
Okay.
Now Disney is slowly conquering everyone.
The world, yeah.
And so now Disney has the Fantastic Four now.
Yeah.
So
because the other two, my top two are I've seen the trailer. I'm familiar with one more than the other, but we'll get into that in a second. But as far as Fantastic Four goes, I mean, I'll probably watch it. Probably not immediately, but
this will be the third reboot in recent times.
Because there was another one,
Fantastic
right?
Four
after the '90s one. Yeah.
Well, no, so that like the '90s one was completely separate. The one you're talking about came out later, but then they just tried to reboot it again a few years ago.
Like 2015 or something. I think I remember.
Yeah, with that what's that guy's name? I forget his name, but yeah. But this one has
the Office guy.
Yeah,
whatever. I can't.
What's his
remember
name?
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
Yeah, and I heard is Emily Blunt actually playing?
I don't think they cast anybody. I don't think they cast anybody for Fantastic.
Okay, is it just like that was just fan rumors?
I think that's just rumor. That's just
okay.
Going on. Yeah.
John
Krasinski.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure all that's just that's all fan.
It's all fan made. Okay.
All right. Well, there you go. Fantastic Four. We each have a different one so far. Michael, what's yours?
So my third one that I'm excited for is I'm going to switch to TV. So I'm going to choose Loki, which comes out pretty soon. They released a trailer for it. The trailer looks great. I'm hoping. I love like Ragnarok Loki. I love when he's just mischievous and like kind of a little troublemaker, because I think that's how he should be played, rather than kind of the first Avengers very evil Loki is really like not my cup of tea. So I'm excited to see kind of what they do with him, especially since, well, Endgame, they kind of killed him. So
yeah, I was gonna say we are getting that first Avengers Loki, right? Like that is the character.
Yeah, I think so, because this is like all again like we're starting to connect to the multiverse that Doctor Strange will gladly open up for us. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm digging. I liked WandaVision. I kind of, from like Netflix's Marvel shows, I kind of like the superhero TV shows rather than the movies. Like personally, like I think some of the movies are good, don't get me wrong, but like I think the format of TV works better with superheroes. Just for me personally, like of how like their stories are told. So I'm kind of excited to see us dive in, especially with some characters who have been kind of like the B-side characters, really get like their kind of a proper decent length and arc. So I'm excited for Loki.
Yeah, I agree with you on that with the television format. Like after I watched, like I'm slowly, I just started. I was like, I'm talking to a bunch of nerds every week, and I'd kind of like to pitch in my thoughts, So I started watching. I watched Captain America, and I watched the first Avengers movie because I've never seen any of these. But going back to the first Captain America, I'm like, that would have been a lot better in a 45-minute episode. Compared
that movie is not good. Like
it wasn't. I was not impressed. Like it
is one of the worst.
The effects were cool. Like I get that. That's fine. But I was like, they could have done a lot better than that. Like they could have made him a way more badass than that, but they didn't. And then with Avengers, I wasn't really impressed with it. Like I've seen Iron Man. Like I've seen the first Iron Man a long time ago, and I thought that was better than the first Avengers movie.
Okay, well, there's a hot take. From Acid, hot take. By the way, there was a time where Captain America was not cool. It was Captain America Winter Soldier when Captain America was cool, because in the Avengers he's not that great, and in the first Avenger he's kind of lame in a lot of ways. But
that him as a superhero is not.
Okay, now we're getting insane. But I'll say this: it's Captain America Winter Soldier is when Captain America became cool.
So he's not cool yet. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying he is.
No, in my universe, he's not cool yet.
I guess.
Yeah,
so.
what you've seen, he's not cool.
Okay.
Yeah,
I haven't seen.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still not the biggest Captain America fan, but Winter Soldier is the best movie in the MCU, I think.
Okay.
agreed.
I'll get there eventually. And again, I don't care about spoilers. So you're not going to ruin it for me. I don't care.
Now remember, Jeremy hates America, so you always have to keep that in mind. No, so what about the scene where he's holding the gauntlet with just his willpower? Remember that, Jeremy? Anyway, so moving on to mine, and I actually kind of agree with Michael, and I'm excited about a TV show. I want to see She-Hulk. This one, I'm actually I'm actually a big fan of She-Hulk in the comics, and it'd be fun to watch a TV show dedicated just to that character. Watch her development. The great thing about She-Hulk is that she doesn't lose her intelligence when she becomes the Hulk, or when she becomes She-Hulk. Now, she's not as strong as the regular Hulk, but then you kind of have this interesting dynamic where she's kind of still the same person. And then it'd be kind of fun to see how she interacts with other Marvel characters. Maybe we'll have a couple people come in. Who knows? But yeah, I'm definitely excited. And I think and if you want to reference like Daredevil and those TV shows where you can really flesh out the character and really see the arc throughout the whole series. So they're definitely excited about She-Hulk. There you go.
Yeah,
all right, Jeremy.
Her casting is interesting, I will say. Her name's like, what is it, Tatiana something. She's from Orphan Black.
Yeah, Orphan Black.
Oh, yeah. So I'm curious to see how, because I haven't really seen too much of her stuff. So I'm curious to see how she'll handle She-Hulk. Because, yeah, I have a fondness for, like, the Lou Ferrigno, like, just another person, like, being, like, the big beefy side. But, yeah, I'm curious to see what, like, they'll look like and what she'll look like. Because we've struggled with the Hulk's aesthetics. To go back to your technology question, Anthony, the technology has not been there for the Hulk for a while. So, Mark
It's still
Ruffalo's Hulk,
so wild to me that Ang Lee made the first Hulk movie.
oh my god, I totally blacked that out, Jeremy. Like, oh my god, that is wild.
Remember when we wanted Gina Carano to be the She-Hulk for a long time? Remember that? Do we still want that? Huh? That's exciting, right? She can not wear a mask. All right, so yeah, She-Hulk. I'm actually excited about She-Hulk. Although I really want to see a female character that's not a twig superhero. Like I kind of want to see that. But yeah, that's just me. All right, so moving on to Jeremy, your number 2.
So my number 2 is Doctor Strange 2. So I liked what they've sort of been doing with Doctor Strange. I mean, I really like Benedict Cumberbatch as an actor. I'm interested to see what's the guy's name?
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. I think we all know.
What is it? Yeah. But him as the villain. So now, a former friend of Doctor Strange. Interested to see what they do with the multiverse. There's rumors that Scarlet Witch is going to make an appearance, and Scarlet Witch is quickly becoming one of my favorite characters in the MCU.
Really?
So, oh yeah. After WandaVision.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I think that they could do a whole lot with it, right? I mean, so the multiverse and the villains, like the level of villains that Doctor Strange is capable of fighting, are interesting. So yeah, I think it's, and then they're pitching it as a sort of horror film, which is also intriguing to me.
The villain who played the villain in Doctor Strange, obviously we can't remember his name.
Well, the villain in the first one was Dormammu, was the big bad guy, but
Right, he wasn't a villain then. He became a villain at the end.
No, Dormammu was the main villain in Doctor Strange. You're talking what is his name?
What's his Mads Mikkelsen was like the henchman of him or something.
No, that's Captain Marvel. No, I'm talking about who's going to be in the villain.
Mordo. Yeah, Mordo.
Mordo. Okay, so Mordo, the actor who plays Mordo.
Yes. He's very good.
Wasn't he in Firefly?
He was in Serenity. Yeah.
That's what I meant. He's in Serenity.
He's really good. Yeah.
All right, excellent. All right,
Mads Mikkelsen's going to be in. Wait, sorry, it took me a second.
No, so different character. So you remember the one who was his friend, and then basically found out that the ancient one or whatever she was called was using some of the power to stay alive, and then he left, and the after credit scene is him going back and taking that guy's power.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
so
I remember
he's going to be the main villain. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. But then, like Anthony, you said Mads Mikkelsen might be in what? You said Miss Marvel or?
So I'm saying Mads Mikkelsen. No.
Mads Mikkelsen is not going to be in any of them.
He's not. I'm confusing him. I'm confusing him with the guy that was the Skrull. What's his name?
Wong? Talking about?
No, the Skrull, the main Skrull.
The actor. You're talking about.
I was confusing those two actors. All right.
Oh yeah. Okay. Very, very different actors.
All right.
I was gonna say.
Moving on to Acid. What's your number 2?
My number 2 is something again I'm not familiar with. I did watch the trailer though this time, so I'm a little informed. And it intrigued me. When I was watching it, and that is What If, animated series of just a whole jumbled. It looks like it'd make an amazing video game.
It's a really fun comic series.
Like it looks like it would make a phenomenal video game in some world. Or the art style is amazing. They got some great voiceover actors to come in. You're talking about Walking Dead. I think I heard Merle in there somewhere. And I'm probably more intrigued with that than anything Marvel at this point after I watched that trailer. So I'm looking forward to that now, and I really hope it doesn't disappoint.
I didn't know there was a trailer actually.
There is, yeah. It's a couple minutes long. It's real short. It doesn't really say much, but it kind of gives you the animated art style, and I mean, there's no story premise behind the trailer or anything. Just that the usual teaser Marvel trailers. I mean, it's it's pretty standard. So, but so I hope it doesn't disappoint.
All right, excellent. And Michael, you're number 2.
So my number 2, now to go from TV to movies again, is going to be The Eternals. Mainly because of who they have in it. Like, I don't know very much about The Eternals. They sound pretty rad. The casting for it is huge big names. I mean, to have Angelina Jolie, Kit Harington, just so many big people, and then to have Chloe Zhao, who's having a moment right now with Nomadland, is such a I'm curious to see, having seen Nomadland, I'm just curious to see how she puts a spin on this comic, because I think that's something I'm really digging now with Marvel, especially since they got Taika Waititi and some other people, how these individual directors put their own personality into these movies is really interesting. So I'm kind of excited for that one.
Yeah, definitely.
So Richard Madden's also going to be in it. So they got two Stark boys.
Hopefully they don't die. They are immortal, so hopefully they don't die.
Yeah, the Eternals, those are some of the Marvel characters that I have I don't know anything about the Eternals, right? So I'm just relying on the fact that Marvel's going to make another great Marvel movie, because that's what I am, a Marvel fanboy.
I don't see how, I can see them doing the Eternals as a standalone thing. I don't see how they really pull the Eternals into the broader MCU.
Is it because they're too powerful?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I know it. Reading the synopsis, it takes place like right after Endgame. They get like awakened or something happens where they activate, and then they come into play after. Which I mean, it's kind of silly that like these like very immortal like powerful beings get activated after the world was almost destroyed. So I'm curious to see how they play with that, and I'm hoping like Marvel always does that there's some humor behind that. Because you have to laugh at the idea that there's all these powerful beings who probably could have beat Thanos and then somehow did not beat Thanos the first time around is really funny to me. So I'm excited.
All right. And speaking of funny, we'll get to my number one, and that is Thor: Love and Thunder. I'm excited about this. Thor Ragnarok is probably, if it's not my favorite Marvel film, it's definitely in the top three. I thought it was it sort of re-energized the character of Thor in a lot of ways, and I'm interested in seeing this next one. I'm not exactly excited about Jane Foster taking up the mantle of Thor. I would have rather like Valkyrie have done that. I think that would have made a lot more sense. We'll see. We'll see. And I'm also a little bit concerned that the actress, what's her name again?
Natalie Portman.
Natalie Portman.
Natalie Portman is not 100% invested in it. Maybe she is, because there was wild speculation that she hated everything about the first two Thors. And then obviously
granted, if I was an actor of her capabilities and I was in those two movies, I'd have been upset too.
Yeah, maybe perhaps. And I mean, she famously refused to do any scenes for Endgame and Infinity War. Like, she refused to do some scenes for that. They had to do like capture scenes from previous films to kind of bring her into the film. I'm pretty sure that's she's in it. She's in Endgame. Like, there's a shot where like she like looks somewhere real quick. Yeah, so we'll see. I'm a little bit concerned. Have you seen her new arms? That's been like the new thing on social media. Pictures of her with her new biceps. I mean, they're fine. She's been working out. But yeah, so we'll see about that. I'm excited about Thor: Love and Thunder. Jeremy, what's your number one?
My number one is Thor: Love and Thunder.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, so I mean, Thor went from the character that I cared about the least and had no interest in at all, to probably my favorite Avenger. Mainly because they finally allowed Chris Hemsworth's not the best actor, right? But he can do comedy pretty well. So they allowed the Thor character to be comedic and to play off some of his, Thor-like characteristics with some of the other characters. So yeah, so I'm interested in it. I am interested in Jane Foster being Thor, taking on the mantle. I'm hoping that Kat Dennings' character, what is her character's name?
Oh God.
But I am hoping, I hope she's back, because I think she adds a lot to the scenes. Yeah, I'm interested in seeing what and how they sort of pull the Thor character back and let someone else take over and see how that goes.
All right, there you go. There's 2 votes for Thor: Love and Thunder. Acid, what do you have?
I was reluctant on this one. This one is probably one that I know the most about out of that entire list, just because I was a huge fan when the first trilogy came out, and that's Blade. Blade, and I'll go ahead and say this: I don't know who the new Blade. I saw the trailer. I don't know who the new Blade actor is. No one, and I repeat, no one will play Blade as good as Wesley Snipes. Okay, let's just.
The reason I'm not excited for it is because I don't think it needs to be redone. I think the first Blade trilogy stands on its own.
I'm kind of agreeing with you on that. I like Blade. I like that lore. I like that. I really liked that trilogy. When I saw the trailer, I wasn't impressed as far as what they could potentially do with it. And I immediately went to that thought, Jeremy. It's like, you don't need to do this. You don't. But I hope I'm wrong. I really do. I really want it to be good because I really like that storyline very well, and I think they could potentially do a fantastic job with it. It's just story is going to be key, and the actors and how they envelop that role is going to be key. So we'll see how it goes.
And what's the famous line that he says at the end of Blade 1 when he defeats the bad guy? What's the famous line that Wesley Snipes says? I think he says something like
Disneyland.
He says
My favorite line is the one that he mouths that he doesn't actually say aloud.
I think he says something like, some MFers want to skate uphill, always want to skate uphill, or something like that. It's like it's think
not that line, but I know what you're talking about.
But yeah, anyways, Michael, what is your number one?
Yeah, okay, I'm glad I went last because I totally forgot that I think I put Blade when you originally asked like what I wanted to like what were my top three. And I was going to say, so actually I'll split it. I was actually going to say like Thor, Love and Thunder and Blade are in my tops. And like Blade I feel like is in my top because the actor who's going to play him is Mahershala Ali. Who is
really?
amazing.
Oh, yeah, he's great.
Yes, he is casted as Blade. He's amazing as an actor. So I'm excited to see what he does with Blade. Though I agree, I love the original trilogy. Like, don't get me wrong. And then for Thor, I agree with what you guys were saying as well, where Thor is one of my favorite of like the main core Avengers. I love him. Thor Ragnarok, I think, cemented that love for me. Like, I am a huge fan of the director Taika Waititi. So, like, Thor Ragnarok was great. I think also in my top three of, like, Marvel movies. I'm also hesitant about Natalie Portman taking over. And I think it's because, as you kind of mentioned earlier, Anthony, I kind of want big, beefier women in the MCU. Like, I want, like, 6 foot tall Amazons, like, who are just, like, huge and muscular. Like, and Natalie Portman, God bless her, she's a great actor, but she is so small. So, like, even, no matter how much muscle she puts on, she will forever be, like, just small in stature. So I kind of want bigger women and more diverse bodies. I think especially with the superheroes. But, you know, I mean, we'll see how it goes. Taika Waititi has never done wrong for me, so I completely trust in his like capabilities of taking on Thor again. And I don't know who is directing Blade, but I also trust in Mahershala Ali. So I'm just excited for both of those to come out.
All right, excellent. Now there's a little bit of controversy because Ali was he was in a Marvel project before, technically part of the MCU.
Oh, what was he in?
He was in Luke Cage. He was a villain in Luke Cage.
Oh,
that's
yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Which he was great in. He was absolutely phenomenal. I'm so sad that he prematurely left that series is what I will say. I'm so sad he wasn't the big main villain, but I mean, he was great the episodes he was in. So,
in fact, I'll go one step further and I'll say that that's the reason why Luke Cage wasn't as great as it could have been. It's because they killed him off too soon.
I think Luke Cage would have been a better show if it wasn't a superhero show.
Okay.
Ooh.
Like, I think it was a very good show. It just the relying on superhero fandom for it was probably not the right way when the way they did it.
Excellent. So we're excited about Blade. We're excited about Thor. All right. What about Gina Carano? She could be Thor. She could be the next Thor. She could post hilarious memes. Anyways, moving on from Gina Carano. That was our list there. What are you most excited about? You post. All right. So, Acid, now we're moving on to our final segment of the show where we do some trivia.
We do have some trivia. This is different type of trivia that we haven't done before. So we'll give it a shot. So I'm going to give you a. I don't necessarily say it. I guess it's technically a category. The game is Geek Out. That's where these came from.
Not a sponsor of the show.
Not a sponsor, but should be. Geek Out. Give us free stuff and give us lots of money. Anywho, I think what I want to do is I'm going to give you the name blank, and then I'll go around to each of you, and you just give me a number of how many you can name. And the person who says the highest number will go, and if they successfully do that, they'll get a point, and we'll do that. We'll do that 4 times. That way, if there's a tiebreaker, the 4th time will be a tiebreaker.
So what if one person bluffs every time and we end up with no points?
Then you'll get a
See what happens.
You will get a negative point.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Well, I'll figure it out because I'm sneaky like that. Okay, so what we're gonna do now? Okay, we'll start with video games. Okay.
Okay.
So, video games in which you can play as the female protagonist. How many of those games can you name? Or how many games with female protagonists that you could play? Oh, how many can you name? We'll start with Anthony. How many do you think you can name? 2? All right. Michael,
Yeah, I mean,
what do
can we
you
get
think?
more time?
I'm gonna say 3.
Okay. I'll come back around. Jeremy, you have a number off the top of your head?
Uh-oh.
I mean, I've got 2 written down right now. I'm just... yeah, I'll say 2.
Okay. Anthony, do you want to change your answer? We have high as 3 right now with Michael. Would you like to change your answer?
You know what? Let's let Michael do it.
Oh no. Okay.
Jeremy, last shot. Would you like to try to go 4?
I have 3 now. Yeah, I'll go 4.
Okay. Michael, would you like to try 5?
Ooh. No. I'm not confident in that. No.
And last chance for Anthony. Would you like to try 5?
No.
No. All right. Jeremy, it's up to you. I need 4 video games that you can play as the female protagonist.
Okay, Last of Us.
Okay.
Horizon Zero Dawn.
Okay.
Mass Effect, because you can play as a woman. And Dragon Age, because you can play as a woman. I
Those
just
were
kind of
like-
cheated on the last 2.
Wait, does that count? Can you just say games where you can make your own avatar? Does that count?
You can. The game changes based on your.
Technically, you can. I also accepted Tomb Raider.
Oh yeah.
Didn't
Oh
even
my gosh.
Think about Tomb Raider.
I thought Samus.
Yeah, Metroid.
Metroid. Resident Evil was one that I thought of.
Which one?
Oh.
Which Resident Evil?
Uh-oh.
You're thinking about the movies.
Yeah, that's the movies. There is one female protagonist in a Resident Evil. Do you know which one it is?
2?
That's no. We won't get into that. Okay. Anyway,
Like,
next.
I guess you could say Uncharted, like the last. Was it the last Uncharted?
Yeah, Lost Legacy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Perfect
I
Dark.
never played that one. Perfect Dark. Yeah. Mirror's Edge. There's
Yeah.
a ton of them. Okay. Anyway.
Yeah.
We could go on.
Now we know all of them. Now we know all
Now
these.
you know all of them for next time.
Monster Hunter, you can make a
Oh,
girl.
we'd be here forever for this one.
You and Monster Hunter, Anthony.
Okay, here we go. Films. Let's be in films. Okay.
Wow.
Films in which computer hackers appear. Films in which computer hackers appear. They just appear. Give you a second to think about it. Films in which computer hackers appear. And then the rest on that card are terrible.
Can you does sequels count as like if there was like
You
3
know what? So let's ixnay the sequels. No sequels. Just
Hey.
this isn't like Tomb Raider 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, this is not that. This is just. Okay, Jeremy, how many do you think you can name?
I don't know.
Wait, you've been writing this whole time.
Yeah. I expected Jeremy to be like 20.
I mean, there's like I'm just gonna say 1.
Okay, Michael.
Okay, I'm saying 4.
4. Okay. Anthony, can you do 5?
I'm pretty sure I could do 5. I can't think of the 5th one.
I mean, what are we calling a hacker?
Yeah, that's...
I'll be the judge of that. We'll see.
I think I should be the judge of that.
Are you saying you're a hacker, Jeremy?
I could do 5.
Okay, Michael, would you like to try 6?
Yeah, I'm at 6 right now.
Oh, 6 for Michael. Anthony, going back, can you do 7?
I can't do 7.
Can't do 7. I'm assuming Jeremy can't do 7.
I'm gonna sit this one out.
All right, Michael, let's hear the 6 movies that hackers appear in.
Okay, first I have hackers.
Okay.
That's the only one that matters.
Okay.
Yeah. Second, I have swordfish.
Okay.
Yep. Third, which you kind of gave me, Acid, was Tomb Raider.
Okay.
I also have Ocean's 8. War Games.
I didn't see that one, so I'll take your word for it.
Okay, Rihanna plays a hacker in it.
I got you. I would
I have War Games,
Okay.
and then I have Lawnmower Man 2, which I don't know if he's in the internet. I guess there are hackers. I've been listening to like How Did This Get Made a lot lately, so bad movies are in my rotation right now.
We'll take it. We'll give you the point for that. You got it.
So
wait.
A couple ones that I added was Matrix.
I figured you would have said The Matrix. Yeah,
And
that's
then
what I was
The
waiting
Net.
for. The Net.
Remember the movie The Net?
Yeah.
1990s movie?
Yeah.
The Net is classic. My favorite thing about it is that the height of antisocial behavior was ordering pizzas online.
Okay, let's see.
There's one more that I can't remember. What was that?
Oh, no, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
All right. We'll stick with the films theme. Okay, for our
Die Hard. The Die Hard movie. What was that Die Hard movie? What was it called?
Yeah, the one with Oliphant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. There's probably going to be a good list on this one. So this is give everybody a shot. I just want to see how high the number can get. Films in which Tom Hanks appears.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I'll give you a minute on this one. Think about it. Tom Hanks. It just appeared. He didn't have to be the main role. He can just appear in this movie. Okay. I feel like I need to bring up a list just so I have something to reference.
See, now I'm just thinking of everything he's in. I can't even think of just like
Good Lord.
just an appearance.
Yeah, I just.
But you can say any movies he's in, right?
Yes, just in. Yep. I'm trying to get a list. Here we go. I got a list now. We're good. And if you can tell me the very first movie he was ever in, I'll give you a point just immediately.
Oh god.
Or the
I'm thinking of like movies like in his early career for whatever reason. Like that was the first things that are coming to my mind.
Actually, the first thing, it looks like the first thing he ever appeared in was a miniseries. TV miniseries. Wow. Who knew? And we've got some upcoming stuff with him in it too. Ooh, interesting. What? All right, go Tom. Man's busy. Man, he is not hurting for cash. If he is, it's his own fault. All right, Anthony, how many do you think you can name?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
13. Okay. Who
Okay,
has
I'm out.
14? All right, Michael's out.
It's more than me. I got 9.
Okay.
I got 9 too. Yeah.
All right, you said 13.
All right, here we go.
All right, we'll go slow because I'm checking these.
Saving Private Ryan.
Okay, I got you on that.
Oh, I forgot about that one.
Yep.
Terminal.
2.
Mm.
Okay. Yeah.
Toy Story.
He didn't appear in that movie.
His voice appears.
No, I would say I'm gonna say no on that one because he himself as the person.
I'm getting
did
nods
not
from everybody
appear.
else.
No,
This is majority rules. All right. Big,
yeah. I'll give you
Turner and Hooch,
Yep.
Money Pit,
Yep.
Splash, You've Got
Man,
Mail,
you went way back there.
You did.
Sleepless in Seattle,
Okay.
Apollo 13,
Okay.
Forrest Gump, Captain Phillips, Polar Express.
He didn't technically appear in Polar Express.
But his character was
His character was in
animated
it.
like
It was
Tom
him.
Hanks was. Yeah, I'll give you that one.
Was he in Sleepless in Seattle?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was him and
Okay.
Remember, because like the whole thing was that he was with Meg Ryan in Sleepless in Seattle, and they redid a movie with You Got Mail.
Yeah, I was. I don't know. I was thinking it was Billy Crystal for some reason.
That was
was,
when Harry Met Sally.
Yeah, Harry Met Sally.
Oh, that's right. The original.
I'm actually shocked that you didn't say Da Vinci Code.
Oh my god.
And I'm also shocked you didn't say Catch Me If You Can.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh,
I had several that like had Philadelphia, Road to Perdition, Green Mile, Joe versus Volcano, Sully.
Sully. Why did I think of Sully?
I mean, that
You
was-
said Castaway, right?
he did not say.
I didn't say Castaway.
No.
Oh, I
I
had
had Castaway.
Man.
I will
You
say
said Forrest
this.
Gump too, right?
He did say Forrest Gump.
But I did. But I did have Turner and Hooch, Big, Money Pit, and Splash. How about that, huh?
Splash
Yeah,
is the.
I
is
had
the
3 of
deep
those.
cut.
Yeah.
Upcoming
I remember-
Tom Hanks movies. Are you ready for this? I
Right.
didn't even Pinocchio. He will be
Yeah.
playing Geppetto. I didn't know this. That's pretty sweet.
Oh no, they're remaking that.
I guess it's the live action one. I mean, if Disney's remaking all their live action,
We don't need to do another live action one. That one haunted me as a child. Like the one with what's it, Jonathan Taylor Thomas. If you haven't seen this, it's nightmare inducing. Like it is a wild ride.
Okay.
All right.
All right. We have one more.
One more question. Let's do it.
The tiebreaker.
Yep.
I think Anthony's in the lead though.
No, I have one.
I don't want to ask that.
We all have
Yeah,
one.
we all have one.
Oh, okay.
Oh God, no, I'm not doing that either. That'd take forever. Okay. Well, no, we won't do that either.
Titles with the.
I'm sorry. With the in it. Yes. Okay. Here we go. I want this one. Sci-fi film trilogies.
Oh,
I
that's
mean,
it?
how are we defining this? Because there's some that started as a trilogy and then later on they added more and more.
Original trilogy or current trilogy?
So hard, only 3 movies.
Yeah. Yeah. Currently now, as of right this very moment.
I don't know if there's 3 movies.
Yeah, I think this will be my demise.
That's the thing. There's like several movies where I'm like, there had to have been sequels to this. Oh,
Okay, think about it.
What if there's others made in the same universe but aren't directly part of the same trilogy?
I'm okay with that. You know, I would actually say if it was at some point a trilogy, I'm okay with that too. Like they had planned on stopping it at the trilogy, and then all of a sudden they went, you know what, let's make 20 of these. All right, Michael, how many do you think you can name?
I got nothing. Because everything I'm thinking about is like Star Wars or like Star Trek, and those are like definitely beyond their singular trilogies. So yeah, I'm just curious what everyone else was naming because I can't think of anything.
All right, Anthony, how many can you name, sir?
Do 2. We'll start with 2.
Start with 2. Okay. Jeremy.
Keep it modest.
Jeremy.
I mean, I'll do 4, I guess.
Okay.
I'll do 5.
Anthony's doing 5. Could Jeremy do 6 or more? Even?
I don't know. The head's back
Can he
down.
do 76?
I mean, we're definitely not counting the 3 Star Wars trilogies as 3, right?
Yeah, I would say 1.
I would say, yeah. I would say that.
If that's the case, then yeah, I have 1. Yeah.
So what are we at? We're at 5 right now with Anthony. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Give me another 10 seconds to think it over, Jeremy.
Yeah, and it. Yeah, go ahead, Anthony.
Okay, Anthony's at 5.
Oh, I only got to do 5?
You have
Okay.
to do 5, yeah.
So Star Wars and Matrix, right? Those are the givens. Highlander?
Not a trilogy.
Okay.
Yeah. Isn't
Okay,
there
so we
only
got 2. I got 2.
Okay.
Hunger Games? That's 3.
Is that a trilogy? I thought there were more than 3.
I wouldn't think that was sci-fi.
That's sci-fi. It's in the future?
I guess so. Yeah, no, you're
It's gonna be in
right.
the
You're
future.
right.
So what am I at 3?
I'll give you 3. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Start the reboot Star Trek universe, Abrams universe. That's 3.
That's not really a trilogy. There's just.
That's 3. That's 3 movies by Abrams.
But that's not what a
It's a
trilogy
reboot.
means.
He made 3 movies that's rebooted. It has nothing to do with
That's a tough one.
No.
3 movies made
Jeremy
by
says
J.J.
no.
Abrams.
That's not the definition of a trilogy, though. It's not a
Michael, what do
bookended
you-
story.
What do you say?
Oh
What
man.
would be your vote? Just for I will be the ultimate judge here. Okay, because I am the.
I'm gonna say yes, just so that way I can have something on the paper as well. Like, I still can't beat 5, but at least I'll have like, okay, yeah, I guess like Star Wars, Star Trek. I wonder. Oh man, I'm trying to think of now. Well, no, Cloverfield isn't. There's only 2. Is there 3? No, there's 3.
I
Cloverfield.
see Jeremy's point.
Oh wait, did you
That is
just
not
take
a
my
bookend.
answer?
Yeah.
That is not a. You know what? I'm gonna have to say no on that one. I have to. Agree
All right, so
with
where
you.
am I at then? Star
You're
Wars,
at
You're at
2.
2.
You're at Star Wars
Matrix.
and Matrix.
Hunger Games. That's 3 people. Come on.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'll
that's
give you
3.
that one. I'll give you.
You got
that one.
3.
Okay.
All right. So we said Highlander was not.
Highlander
It's
is
not
No, there's only 2, I think.
No, there's more than that.
Oh, there's more Highlanders.
Yeah.
Hey, look up Time Cop real quick. Is there 3?
Time
movies?
Cop is a 1.
There's 2. There's 2.
They made a Time Cop 2, but it's not the same thing. The Jean-Claude Van Damme is a standalone Time Cop movie.
You're killing me here with this. Escape from New York. Look up Escape from New York real quick. Is there 3 movies?
Did you just write down sci-fi movies and are hoping
No,
they have
because
3
I
of
know
them?
there's 2, and there's probably a 3rd one. There's probably
There's Escape from LA and Escape from New York.
Yeah, but then there's probably a 3rd one.
I don't think there is.
There's
Yes, it
Hail
probably-
Marys.
No.
Hang on. I'm checking.
There's probably a 3rd one.
There's probably there might be.
The fact that I'm not getting the Star Trek Abrams universe is complete garbage. I just want everybody to
It's
know.
not a trilogy.
It's 3 movies and a
But
complete.
that's not what a trilogy means. I mean,
He made
it's
3
a
movies.
beginning to end, bookended, like The Godfather.
The
Right? You
Godfather
start with these
movie.
characters, you end with these characters.
I'm putting down Godfather. It's an alternate universe.
No.
How many movies are Escape in New York or the Escape in New York franchise?
That's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm looking at.
I bet you there's a 3rd one. I bet you there's a 3rd one.
There's only.
I'm
Two.
almost positive there's not. I mean, Kurt
There's
Russell.
only 2.
Yeah, Escape from LA,
There's
Escape from New
only
York.
2.
Oh my goodness. Where am I at? 4?
No,
No, you're trying to get the 4.
You're trying to get the 4 right now. 30,
Cloverfield.
30
I just
seconds.
thought. Cloverfield. There's 3 Cloverfield movies.
But they're
Someone
not
whispered
related,
it to
are
me.
they?
Yeah, they are.
Same
Yeah.
universe.
I mean, they're the same universe, but they're not the same characters.
No, not the same characters, but it's the same monster. Like, I mean, yeah, I think that's a trilogy. Like, it's like, because I mean, there's the prequel, which is the one that just came out where they're in space, and then that's where the monster comes from for the first Cloverfield, and then the like what's it called, Cloverfield Lane or whatever it's called, is like the aftermath of like when the monsters take over the world. So there's like a book ending of like of that universe. I'm only trying to give it to myself so I can have it.
So we have Matrix, Star Wars, Hunger Games. I should get Star Trek Abrams universe, but whatever. So yeah, I don't have 5. Which ones am I missing?
Okay, I'm looking. I just typed in sci-fi trilogies just to get an idea.
The one that I had that he didn't put down was Alien.
Yeah, I just thought that.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
So with that, I had
would've-
4.
I would have also accepted Planet of the Apes,
There's like 20. There's like 20.
but it was originally a trilogy.
Oh, the new one. That's right.
Yeah.
Iron Man is a trilogy.
I also had Blade.
Blade is also a trilogy.
Is that science fiction? Come
It
on.
is. I mean, it was classified as
It
science
is
fiction.
it's right here. I would have also
Really?
accepted Back to the Future. I mean, come on, who didn't?
Oh,
Oh
shit.
God, I don't
Wow.
even. I didn't even consider that
I mean,
as science
come
fiction.
on.
But yeah.
Goodness.
Time
That's
travel all the
ridiculous.
way. Terminator.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of counts. Huh?
Going back with Alien, yeah, he said that. Of course, Matrix.
Now when I hear all of them, I'm like, oh yeah, I know these things.
all these trilogies.
Yeah, my brain just no thoughts all of a sudden. That's what happened there.
Back to the Future. That should have been a give me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, those are the big ones. It looks like, according to this. So.
All right, there's the game. I think I won. Clearly.
I think that was Jeremy.
I think Jeremy won this one. Jeremy wins the brand new Chevy Tahoe, bright pink, courtesy.
By the way,
of Geek Out.
did we say that? Hold on. Did I not get credit for Highlander?
No, you got credit for
No.
Hunger
Not a
Games.
trilogy.
Highlander was not on this list over here.
I'm pretty sure Highlander has 3 movies.
As the Highlander expert of the group, there's more than 3, but they were not done as a trilogy. I mean, really, the second one isn't even in the same universe.
Yeah, that's true.
All right.
Quickening is its own standalone entity.
So what we're trying to say, what we all agree is that I got robbed on this. All right. So all right, there's the show, everyone. It was Michael. It was great having you.
Yeah, it's great being here with y'all. Like, this is fun.
All right, excellent. All right, so that was the show. Of course, you can watch us on YouTube. You can listen to us as a podcast. So you got the visuals, but then you got the audios as well, right? Both the choices. And of course,
Audials? Is that what you just said?
subscribe and like and all that kind of fun stuff. But that's the show for today. Have a good one, everybody.